So good afternoon, everyone. In last lecture, we started our third chapter, that is distance protection. In that, we have seen the principle of distance protection, means how actually the transmission lines are protected. Okay, these are very long transmission lines, and we have already seen that there are different zones of protection. Means when we are not protecting that long transmission line by using single or two relays only, which are placed at means starting end and receiving end. Okay, uh, but we are making different sections of these transmission lines, and these all are the overlap. Okay, we call it the zones of protection, right? We call zones of protection, and these all are overlap, so that not a single element is missed. Okay, so here, uh, when we are protecting such transmission lines, which are the different types of protections used? So here are different types. These are we are using the impedance relays, reactance relays, and admittance relays. Okay, because majorly when we are considering the transmission line, in last lecture only I told you that we are considering the four parameters, that is R, L, G, and C when we are considering the AC transmission line, right? So here we are considering the impedance which is related to the AC circuit, okay, which is related to the AC circuit. So here when we protect the any transmission line, we measure its impedance, which is in terms of voltage and current. We in previous chapters we have seen different types of relays, but these relays were some electromechanical relays. We have seen numerical relays, static relay. Only overview we have seen, and we have also seen different types of electro mechanical relays, right? So in that we are producing the torque, and that torque it's moving simply the contacts of this relay, that is normally open contacts to normally close contacts. Okay, so here also we have means such torque will be produced to operate your relay. Okay, so here uh, we are considering the impedance. Okay, we are considering the impedance. So that impedance is set. Okay, there is a set value of that impedance, and when that value will be less than the set impedance, when any fault will occur, and that impedance will become less, okay, than the set impedance, then only your relay will operate. How actually we have also seen that this is our circuit diagram. Here one generating station, we have considered here one section, that is from A to B. The total impedance of this section AB is Z. Okay, is Z. Now here F1 is the fault occurred in this section AB, or in this zone AB, we can say. So here this is impedance relay. This is potential transformer, current transformer. We are actually supplying by using this potential transformer, and current is obtained by using this CT, which is connected in series. Okay, so when any fault will occur, this impedance is ZF. Okay, and why it is shown at a particular length only? Because in last lecture we have seen that we know the equation for R. Okay, this R is equal to rho L divided by A, right? This is our general equation when we are using in DC circuit. R is equal to rho L divided by A, means this resistance is directly proportional to the length. Okay, similarly we can write this for AC circuit, that is impedance is directly proportional to L. Means if there is a change in the impedance, there will be change in the length of transmission line. Means if we know the exact value of the impedance, then we can find at what length your fault is happen. Okay, so means we can directly find the length, or the distance from the relay at which our fault is occurred. Okay, so this impedance relay is frequently used for the protection of transmission line, and when we'll see it's practical in that relay also, that is also impedance relay. Okay, that is also impedance relay. Now, how actually it is working? Because here this Z is equal to V divided by I. Okay, Z is equal to V divided by I. So, in general cases, when there is a normal condition, that time this voltage will be more and current will be less. Okay, under normal working condition. But when any fault will occur, okay, when this fault will occur, then this current will increase. Okay, when this fault will occur, this current will increase, and this impedance get decreases here. If this current increases, impedance decreases, right? So under normal working condition, this impedance is equal to Z. Okay, this impedance is equal to Z. But when this current will increase, means when this fault will occur there, that time this impedance decreases. This impedance decreases, and this is the fault impedance. Okay, so this is your fault impedance denoted by ZF. So it is directly giving you the length of the transmission line where actually your fault is occurred. Okay, this ZF value will give you the distance where the fault is occurred there. Okay, uh, so in this way you can find the fault. Now the same explanation is given here. Okay, means that time your relay will operate. Okay, if this means suppose here suppose here this Z is the set impedance. Okay, and ZF is your fault impedance. This fault impedance should always be less than the set impedance. Okay, so when this ZF is less than this Z, that is the set impedance, that time only your relay will operate. Okay, that time only relay will operate there. Okay, so here this is the operating characteristic of your impedance relay. Okay, here also we are considering electromechanical relays. That time we have seen that there are two coils. First is the operating coil and second is the restraining coil. Okay, just like here also there are two coils, that is the operating element and the storing element. Okay, so this uh, operating element is generating the deflecting torque, and this voltage storage element generates the restoring torque. Means to produce the torque means operate to operate your relay. Okay, this torque is produced, and this torque equation is given by T is equal to K1 I square minus K2 V square minus K3. Okay, this K3 is used for the spring tension. Okay, means there is one spring when we are considering any electromechanical relay. That time there are two strings and one strip like is there, and there is one spring, and by using that spring only these contacts get closed and open. Okay, so that is used for this K3 minus K3. Okay, so this is the voltage versus current characteristic. Okay, it is a straight line. It is a straight line, but when we are considering the numerical relays or static relays, that time this characteristic is slightly bending. Otherwise, for electromechanical relays, this is a positive torque region. Okay, this is positive torque region means means uh, when this will be means when your fault impedance is less than your set impedance. Okay, means in that relay the impedance value is set. Okay, when your fault impedance is less than the set value of your impedance, that time your relay will operate. Okay, your relay will operate. So that operating region is called the positive torque region. Okay, positive torque region. And when your ZF means fault impedance is greater than this Z, okay, that is called the negative torque region. Okay, negative torque region. Okay, so this is your characteristic. Then we say the minus K3 is the spring effect of the relay. Spring effect, okay, means some tension of that spring is also considered. Okay, so the V and I are the values of voltage and current. And when the relay is in normal operating condition, then the net torque of the relay becomes zero. Okay, means we all know that when there will be some production of torque, then and then only your relay will operate. Okay, means that is considered as a faulty condition. But when there is no any fault, when there is no any fault means under normal operating condition, your torque will be always zero. Okay, so when we put in this equation this torque is equal to zero, then we get, okay, this torque is equal to zero, and just take this k2 into v square to the left side. So we can write this equation as this k2 into v square is equal to k1 I square minus k3. Okay. Now you can just divide this equation by k2 into I square. So that you will get here. This is k2 into v square divided by k2 into I square, which is equal to k1 I square divided by k2 I square minus k3 divided by k2 I square. So we get here v square divided by I square. These two terms will get cancelled. This v square divided by I square is equal to, here also I square get cancelled. So it is equal to k1 divided by k2 minus it is k3 divided by k2 into I square. Okay. So to find V upon I, because this is our impedance relay, we have to obtain value of Z here, right? So this Z is equal to V divided by I. Okay, so just take its root, square root, and you will get this answer, that is K1 upon K2 minus K3 upon K2 into I square. Okay, so everyone write this equation from the first point and also draw the characteristic. This is important. operating characteristic of the impedance relay, okay, for a distance protection. Okay, what? Okay, then just note all the formulae and all points also. Okay, what? झालंय का लिहून? Yes or no? All of you noted this? Yes or no? Okay. So here, if the spring control effect becomes neglected, okay, means actually we are considering here one restraining coil, one operating coil, one plate is there, and here one spring is there. Okay, so by using this, its movement is there. Okay, so when we are neglecting this spring tension or spring control effect, then which is related to this K3. Okay, so when we neglect this term, this Z is equal to that is V upon I, which is equal to square root of K1 upon K2, and that is a constant. Okay, so this is our equation for impedance. Okay, the torque equation. Okay, means when we are considering the torque as 0 under normal working condition, this is the equation for the impedance Z. Okay, and it is constant. Okay, so all of you understood this impedance relay? Impedance relay. Okay, now we'll see the second, that is the reactance relay. So here we are considering the reactance that is X. Okay, reactance that is X. Now this reactance relay is high speed relay. Okay, it is a high speed relay than your impedance relay. Then this relay consists of elements and overcurrent element and current voltage directional element. Okay, there are two main elements. We'll see the constructional details here. Actually, there are four coils. Okay, polarizing two coils, and one is the operating coil, and fourth one and last one is the restraining coil. Okay, so there are four coils, and it means whatever torque will be produced, that will be by using these two, that is the overcurrent element and the current voltage directional element. Okay, now the current element develop positive torque. Okay, it means this, as I told you, these two elements are used for the production of torque. Okay, so this overcurrent element, okay, this current element develop positive torque, and a current voltage develop directional element which opposes the current element. Okay, means this current voltage directional element is producing torque. Okay, it is also producing torque, but there is some angle between these two torques. Okay, that is torque produced by overcurrent element and current voltage element. Okay, in between them there will be some angle. Okay, phase angle will be there. Now this reactance relay is an overcurrent relay with directional limitation. Okay, uh, means there are some directional limitations for this when we are considering the angle between that torque developed. Okay, now the directional element is arranged to develop maximum negative torque. Okay, when its current lags behind its voltage by 90 degrees. Okay, so when we are considering this, considering the torque production, that time here, this directional element is producing, the directional element is producing the negative torque, and the current lags behind its voltage by 90 degree. Okay, so this is your V and this is your I. Okay, so this is producing the negative torque. Okay, so here you will understand. Actually, it is a this is electromechanical relay. We have already seen it is a cup structure. Okay, so this is a cup type of structure. Induction cup structure we have seen when we studied the different induction type of relays. That time curve structure we seen there are 4 poles. Okay, 4 poles are there. So here also 4 poles are shown, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4, and 4 different coils are wound on these 4 poles to produce the torque here. Okay, so uh, two coils are the polarizing coil. One is the operating and second is the restraining coil. Okay, in every means all almost electromechanical relays, operating coil is there and restraining coil is there. Right, operating coil is in positive for the operation of relay. Okay, that is your operating coil. And restraining coil, what it does, it is also producing the flux, and by using that spring, okay, uh, uh, it is not allowing this contactor to touch, means to close the relay contacts, but when this fault will occur, this operating coil uh, uh, will attract this, and the relay contact will get closed. Okay, so that is the general working of this restraining and the operating coil. If you know the basic, you will easily understand this. Okay, so this is the induction cup structure. It has 4 pole structure carrying operating, polarizing and restraining coils. The operating torque is developed by interaction of fluxes, okay, due to current carrying coils. Okay, now we are considering here the uh, uh, 3 coils. Okay, so first the interaction of fluxes of 2, 3 and 4. Okay, 2, 2, 3 and 4 will produce the torque. Okay, okay, it will produce the torque, that is called the operating torque. Okay, that is called the operating torque because it is produced by the operating coil. Okay, by uh, 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 with this polarizing coils. Okay, Means by using these polarizing coils and operating coils, we can produce the operating torque. Okay. And by using this restraining coil, we can produce the restraining coil. Means again, these two, uh, uh, sorry, one, that is the restraining coil, two and four. Okay. By using these three, we can produce the restraining torque. Okay. So in this way, your relay will operate. Then there is a operating characteristic just like the impedance relay. In impedance relay, we have seen the current and voltage characteristic. So we can also plot it, the RX characteristic. Okay, means in RX characteristic, what we are actually doing is we are considering one region. Suppose this is your Z. So within this region, if this is your R and this is your X, okay, this is your X. So below this, okay, below this only your relay is operating, and after this your relay is not operating. Okay, so this Z is your set point. Okay, Z is your set point. So that is the RX, means we can plot such RX characteristics also. Okay. Now here also this RX characteristic is plot. Now here, now you can see this X is the setting. Means again we are fixing one value of X, that is reactance. Okay. So below that, okay, below that only, means if this X, when any fault will occur, and if that value, uh, uh, that reactance value is less than this set X, then only your relay will operate. Okay, then only your relay will operate. So that is producing the positive torque. But when it is beyond this set value of X, then your relay will not operate, means that is the negative torque. Okay, that is the negative torque. And this means when we are considering the different angles, when we are considering the torque equation, that time this angle is shown here. Okay, that is a straight line. So here this X is the reactance of protected line between relay location and fault point. Means it is similar to your impedance relay. Means in impedance relay also, we are simply finding the fault location from your relay. Okay, by finding the value of the fault impedance. Okay, likewise, suppose here your relay is located, and here suppose the fault is occurring, so that distance is found by using this. Okay, and R is the resistance. Okay, so this is your characteristic. Okay, only here consider how actually the torque is produced. Okay, and if you, when your torque will get produced, your relay will operate here. Okay, so this is the characteristic. Then if anyone want diagram, they can take the screenshot, or you can draw this fastly. Then everyone take this characteristic, note the characteristic. Okay. Okay, noted. Now, this is your reactance relay. Means we are measuring reactance. Okay. Then note the next point, that is admittance relay. Okay. So admittance is denoted by Y. Okay. Or and its unit is, what is the unit of admittance? 1 upon ohm means it is mho, we are saying. Okay, therefore it is also called mho relay. Okay, so this mho relay is a high speed relay. Okay, and it is also called the admittance relay. Okay, so there are two names, admittance relay, or it is also called mho relay, and it is high speed relay. Okay, now it is sometimes also called an angle impedance relay. Okay, it is also called angle impedance relay. Remember, all three names can be asked as MCQ. Now, in this relay, operating torque is obtained by volt ampere element, and the restraining torque is developed due to voltage element. Okay, operating torque is developed by volt ampere element and restraining by voltage element. Now tell me, what was in the reactance relay? Operating torque was obtained by which element? Yes, which element? So, in reactance relay, operating torque was obtained by the overcurrent element, and restraining torque was developed or obtained the uh, by the first was by overcurrent, and second was by current and voltage. Okay, current voltage element. Okay, that is the restraining torque. And remember here, this operating torque is obtained by volt ampere and restraining by voltage element. Okay, so remember these two differences. Now, it means a Moore relay is a voltage restrained directional relay. Only voltage restrained directional relay, and this reactance relay is a current voltage restrained directional relay. Okay, that is also directional. This relay is also directional relay. Okay, directional means it operates in only one directional. Okay, non-directional means it operates in two directions. That is the non-directional relay. Okay. Now, these two reactance and admittance relays both are the directional relays. Okay. Now, the operating torque is developed by interaction of fluxes. Okay. So here again, the same construction is used here. That is the induction cup type of structure. Here we are considering again two coils, that is polarizing coils, which are connected in series. One is the operating coil and another is the restraining coil. Okay, so here the torque developed, okay, the operating torque developed by interaction of 2, 3 and 4. Okay, 2, 3 and 4 means two polarizing and one operating coil. Okay, and the restraining torque will be developed by two polarizing and one restraining torque. Okay, that is 1, 2 and 4. By using these three, your restraining torque will be developed. Okay, so this is your admittance relay. Then, so if you have noted, we'll see the zone of protection. So समझ ले? Any doubt? If anyone having any doubt, otherwise we'll see the next point. Okay. So remember these three relays. Okay, first is the impedance, second is reactance, and fourth one is the admittance. These relays are important because after this also we are going to see all these three relays, but all are the microprocessor based relays. Okay, so we'll see these relays because these are last points. Okay, now the next point is the distance protection zones. Actually, it is specially not given in syllabus, but it is important. That's why I'm taking this point. Uh, this distance protection zones, we have already seen the zones of protection. That is, then we have seen the primary protection, backup protection. These are the types of protection. And when we are considering the zones of protection, all the zones are overlap. Okay, but actually when we are considering the long transmission lines, okay, and when any fault is occurring, that time we are considering different zones, but whatever be that area covered, that is expressed in percentage. Okay, so here there are again we are considering three zones, that is zone 1, 2 and 3, and whatever be the faults covered now by these areas, okay, these will be seen in this particular point here. Okay, so uh, distance protection zone. So here the choice of reach setting. Okay, means here actually there is a setting, means if any fault is occurring. Okay, concentrate. If any fault is occurring, up that relay is going to operate. Actually, when we are considering any zone for the protection purpose. Okay, so suppose here I am considering this is my zone of protection, this is my transmission line. One zone only I am considering. So at one end I am considering one relay, and at another end I am considering another relay. Okay. So if this fault is occurring here, okay, the relay nearest to this fault point should operate first. Okay, suppose I consider this relay is the nearest one, then this should operate first. Okay, according to the time graded system, which we have already seen, but then this relay also should operate at the same time. Means it means that whatever be this time set for that relay operation, according to that, the relays will operate. Okay, so there are different types. That is the instantaneous relays. Okay, inverse time definite relays means we are giving some particular timing, and after that only your relay are operating. Okay, so according to that, there are different zones. Okay, so here the reach setting is there. Reach setting means when this fault will occur, when this fault will occur, at what uh, percent uh, this means we are considering that area, that is called the reach setting. Okay, and the operation times for the different zones allows proper coordination. Okay, Means we can easily detect these faults. We can uh, uh, easily disconnect that faulty section immediately, and it will allow the proper coordination between distance protection relays on an electric power system. Means if when we are considering this zone 1, for example, which is operating instantaneously, okay, so at that instant only that fault will get disconnected, faulty section will get disconnected. When we are considering the second zone, okay, which is set at some more reach, okay, and more reach means also its time is increased, means then after this relay, after zone 1 relay, this the second one will operate again. When it will fail, again the third zone, means the relay which is in the third zone, it will operate, okay. Likewise, there is proper coordination. We have seen the relay coordination, means if your one relay fails to operate, then your second relay will operate. Means there is time graded system, or the time is set for each and every relay. Okay, some relays are operating at point 2, then after point 4 seconds, suppose, means first this point 2 second relay should operate first. If it fails to operate after point 4 seconds, the second relay should operate there. Okay, so that is your relay coordination. Okay, so it is required for the proper operation of your electric power system. Okay, now the fundamental distance protection will contain an instantaneous directional zone 1 relay protection. Okay, so this is your basic means if any fault is occurring, instantly that relay is going to operate, means without taking any time, which is called the instantaneous relay. Okay, and one or more time delayed zones. Okay, means as I told you, this is your zone 1, okay, in which the relays are operating instantaneously. This is your zone 2, for which some time is set, and for third zone, again some time is set, which is more. Okay, now the digital and numerical distance protection relays may have up to 5 or 6 protection zones. Okay, some are set to sense in the reverse direction. Okay, so here we are considering, when we are considering the electromechanical relays, that time we can put here the 3 zones, but when we are considering the digital relays and numerical relays, that time 5 to 6 5 to 6 protection zones are there. Okay, so this is your distance protection zones. Now we'll see one by one here. Now, here it is zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3 are given. Okay, so zone 1 means here you can see that uh, this is your sending end. Okay, one line length is there, or one section of the line is, suppose this is your A and this is your B. Okay, A and B is there. Okay, total line length is from this A to this B. Okay, but two relays are there. One is at sending end and another is at receiving end. Okay, so if but here we only 80% reach is there, means this is your 100% distance, but only 80% of zone is protected here. Okay, 80% the zone is considered here, means 80% reach is there. That is the zone 1. Okay, for zone 1 there is 80% we are considering only. Now here you can see if any fault will occur. Okay, if any fault will occur, suppose here fault is occurring, immediately the relay will operate, and at at within 0 seconds only, okay, within 0 seconds only your relay will trip. Okay, your relay will trip here. Okay, when when the fault will occur in zone 1. Okay. Now this here, this is the zone 1 protection setting. Okay. So here you can see the electromechanical or static protection relays typically have reached setting of up to 80%. Okay, 80% we are setting of the protected transmission line impedance for instantaneous zone 1 protection. Okay, means for protection, means for protecting that area instantly, we are considering the 80% of that transmission line or that particular section. Okay, now for digital or numerical distance protection relays, setting of up to 85% may be adequate. Means for numerical and digital relays, we can use the 85% of the setting. Okay, and zone 2 of distance relay protection has to cover remaining 15 to 20% of the transmission line. So we'll see that in the zone 2 protection. Means we are this we are considering zone 1. In this zone 1 only 80% of the line section is considered here. Okay, so whatever fault will occur within that zone only, it will be it will be detected by this relay, okay, which is present in this zone 1. Now the remaining line, okay, whatever be the line is remaining from this point A to B, okay, almost a 20% line is remaining, that is covered in this zone 2. Okay, in this zone 2. Okay, and for this zone 2 we are setting some time. Okay, actually in zone 1, as I told you, the point the time is only 0 second. Within one fault will occur, at the same instant your relay will start operating. But for this zone 2, some time is set. Okay, some time is set. Suppose it is 0.2 second. Okay, suppose it is 0.2 second. Means if these relays will fail to operate, then the relays which are in this zone 2 will operate at the 0.2 seconds. Okay, at the 0.2 seconds. So here you can see this zone 2 protection, the reach protection setting of zone 2 protection needs to be at least 120% of the protected transmission line. Means here you can see this will be 100%. When you will consider the line from A to B, it will be 100%, but it is beyond this. Means we have to consider here minimum 120%. Okay, so in electromechanical and static protection relays, zone 2 protection is given either by different elements or by extending the protection reach of the zone 1 devices after a time delay that is started by a fault detector. Okay, means we are in this second zone. Okay, in this second zone, for protection purpose, we are giving means that is given by different elements, or we are using the same relays which are in the zone 1. Okay, by means by giving there some time for the operation. Okay, time for the operation. Now in majority of digital and numerical protection relays, the zone 2 devices are put in software. Okay, now the last one is the zone 3 protection. Means it is simply the backup protection. Okay, so remote backup relay protection for all short circuit currents on adjacent transmission lines can be given by this third zone. Okay, so here you can see after this, okay, actually we are considering only section A to B. Okay, only section A to B. But this B is up to 120%. But beyond this, when your fault will occur, means that is nothing but your backup protection. Backup protection. When all these two systems will fail to operate, this will act as a backup protection here. Okay, then the in the protection zone 3 should be adjusted to at least 1.2 times the impedance given to the protection relay. Okay, uh, means we are already setting the impedance. Okay, that impedance is Z, or suppose this Z is equal to 1. Okay, Z is equal to 1, but for this third zone, we have to set this at least 1.2 times. Okay, at least 1.2 times the set value of the relay. Okay, for short circuit at the remote end of the second transmission line portion. Okay, so this is your third zone protection. Only remember here there are three zones of protection: zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. In this zone 1, we are protecting 80% of line. In zone 2, we are protecting 120%. 120% means more than our line length. And in zone 3, again, that is the extra protection. Extra means it is the backup protection. Okay, and the time is also more, means in zone 1 instantaneously your relay will operate. In zone 2, when we consider zone 2, your relay will operate after some time, and in zone 3 again that timing is increased. Means here suppose your in zone 2, suppose your relay is operating at 0.2 seconds, then in zone 3 your relay will operate at 0.4 seconds. Okay, this that will be the starting time of your relay. Okay, or operating time of the relay. Okay, so these are the zones of protection. So these are important. uh, okay, so I hope for today we'll stop here. In next lecture we'll see the carrier aided protection, next point. Okay, so any doubt? Is there any doubt? Okay, if not, then we'll stop here. Thank you all and have a nice day. Thank you.